you guys. We are so grateful to have you. Your input is so important to us. This is not for branding. We are not here to brand Auburn. We are really here to define the experiences that are of Auburn. So we want to really engage in what those experiences look like, and then how can we help bring in either outside people or make sure that these activities and these experiences are accessible to our residents. So we will have a series of 4 town halls quarterly, and all of that information will be taken and then used to help market Auburn to raise our sales tax, because that's what we want, is more money. So without further ado, welcome. Thank you for spending this evening with us. If you're online, thank you so much. We will tell you this again, but as we bring in the panel, you will actually be able to interact and participate in this by scanning these QR codes. Don't scan them yet because you won't see anything. However, you're going to be able to scan these and interact with the panel in their discussion. So your answers will be up here on the slides, and our panel will be able to answer the questions depending on your answer. That makes sense? Cool. Without further ado, I would love y'all to welcome our Madam Mayor, Miss Kelly Davis.
Thank you, Jamie. If we can give Jamie a round of applause as well. She is a rock star. She just recently took over as chair of our Economic Development Commission, and I will tell you what, she's bringing all of her force to it. So thank you all for coming. It's great to have you. I didn't write a speech because I think maybe it'll feel a little bit better. And my purpose is to introduce you guys to why we're here, what we're doing, and give you a little bit of background about how money is working in our community or not working, and kind of give you some background before our panel takes over and we do the interacting. So, other orders of business, please silence your cell phones, put them in your pockets, whatever. If you need to leave and go to the restroom, please do, but no food in here. You can have water, but if you need to walk out, we won't be offended. Okay, but don't walk out just because it's not fun. I will be offended. Okay, Jay Ross is our moderator tonight. I am Kelly Davis. I am the mayor. Woo. Okay, why are we here tonight? So we're here tonight to talk about mostly sales tax, because that's something we as a community have the most control over, because that's how we generate our funding, and one of the most flexible forms of funding that we have. We can direct how it's used. I'll tell you the other funding sources that we get a little bit, but the focus tonight is sales tax. To discuss a little bit about how your shopping choices matter and how they affect how we get that money, and then finally getting your feedback. You guys have the answers we need. You guys have lived experiences in our community. You own businesses. Oh, I wanted to ask, can I see a raise of hands, business owners who are here? Yay! Awesome. Thank you, guys. And, you know, to hear from each other and just gather a ton of information. All right, so let's jump right into it. How much of our budget comes from taxes? So on the left, this is our whole city budget, okay, $32.4 million. Not all of that is tax money. A lot of it comes, you know, lots of different things. So I want to give you an idea. Totally every year, about $32 million that we're spending to make the city function. Over here on the right, we have the general fund. The general fund is our general fund of money. It's used to do tons of things, and I'll get into that, but I wanted you to understand how we fund our general fund. $19 million, the blue, taxes, okay? The rest of it, other licensing things. All right. So, but what do we mean when we say taxes? 2 big parts of that: property tax and sales tax. In a community like ours, a lot of people lived in their houses a long time. Our property tax numbers are not high. Houses are not turning over as quickly. So when you look at communities with higher property tax, they have people who are buying houses more recently. They're not, you know, transferring sales tax from other properties. So I don't know if we know how stagnant that number is, but like, yeah.
Property tax just goes up a little bit each year. It can only increase 1% based on Prop 13 anyway. But so new houses selling get reassessed. But because, as the mayor said, that doesn't happen a whole lot, it does stay kind of stagnant.
Thank you.
A little bit of an increase. I think the last increase was maybe 3% total.
And then that other big orange chunk is sales tax. And we have one sales tax provider that provides the opposite of 35%, but 35% is from this non-fuel sales. Our sales in stores, big purchases, small purchases, our day-to-day shopping. It's about 35% of that orange slice. And TOT, that's another one I'm pointing out. TOT is transient occupancy tax. So that's when people stay in hotels, short-term rentals. We get 10%, and that comes to us. And so it's really great when we can find ways for people to stay in town. We hope that little blue triangle can grow. All right, and one of the biggest mysteries, what is in city limits? You know, people will say, oh my gosh, I spend so much money at Target. I'm like, well, guess what? Target is not in the city limits. Our city limits are 7 square miles, and it's this dotted loop. And you'll see that it doesn't really capture, we're up here at the airport as well. It doesn't capture everything up here on Bell. Okay, it's not Home Depot. It's not all those big stores up there. It's not most of these car dealerships. It is downtown, Old Town, part of 49. Okay, so we don't have these big stores that are generating tons of sales tax. We have small businesses. We have a couple other, bigger things, but we're not pulling in this money from North Auburn. Our current sales tax, this is just a breakdown when you see, sales tax on the receipt, 7.25%. The state's going to take 6% of that. The city walks away with 1%. So 1 penny on every dollar. Doesn't sound big, but it adds up. As you saw the pie graph, we do generate money. But when you think of that sales tax that you're paying, 1% is coming back into our city limits. So I did a quick math experiment just to give you an idea. If you're one person and say you're spending $100 a month in town, you're trying to, you go to Staples, you go to the stores, and you're trying to spend, I'll spend $100. You'll make about $12 a year for the city, which might feel like not super empowering, but if we all did that, it starts to add up. Okay, so if 10,000, every adult in the city limits spent $100 a month, $120,000. That's a salary. You can do more with that. If we have 50,000 people, so if we can attract visitors, $600,000 a year. If we go above that and you think, okay, $500 a month, if you're buying bigger purchases, that starts to add up more quickly. And so that segues to, how do we spend our money? What are we doing with this money that we bring in? And I included our big number, our big budget number, because it's a little bit easier. Nothing's easy on this, but the large chunks of money that come out of our general fund, we pay for our police, we pay for fire, we pay for administrative, it's our staff, and some public works. Some of these other categories have mixtures of funding, but if we go down at this bottom part, that's general fund. Sean, do you concur? Okay. In general, the 1%, fire and police services. So if you like having a police department here in town, fire department here in town, that's with our general fund. That's our tax money. Day-to-day operations. If you like the streets being swept, if you like City Hall being open, if you like having an economic director, all these services that we have. City staff, general upkeep and improvements, road maintenance, beautification, landscaping, and then things like our committees. So tonight, this is put on by the Economic Development Committee. We're volunteers, we're here, but we have a small budget to do projects like this. And so when the budget is strong and we're bringing in money, we can do more stuff in our committees. We have a sustainability committee, we have an arts committee, we have economic development, we have endurance capital committee, arts, huh? Yeah. Oh, historic, yeah. Yeah, okay. So we have a few. And so this is really what got me fired up about shopping local. As I started to really get involved in the community, really start to meet the business owners, really start to realize, oh, my neighbors own a business. When you shop local, it's not just that 1%. That 1%'s great, and the city needs that. But when you're shopping locally, you are supporting our community. You are supporting business owners who live here, who work here, who also shop here. They pay rent, they hire employees, they use local services. And maybe not most importantly, but what I feel is really the heart of Auburn is these are the businesses that sponsor our teams, they sponsor events, they sponsor nonprofits, they do fundraisers, they donate raffle prizes. And so when we don't have small business or they're not thriving, all of this fabric of our community starts to fall apart because we don't have teams. We don't have nonprofits that can thrive and do other work. So when I think, okay, comparing the price of something, I might be paying a little bit more, but I think of it, I'm donating into my town. I'm donating into these businesses who are giving back. And it's just a full circle, and those dollars circulate again and again and again. And I think that's so important for Auburn staying Auburn. All right, so online shopping. Whew. Yeah, it's great. It's convenient. You can get everything you want. You can get it really quickly. But that 1%, is it 1%? Yeah. It doesn't come right back into town. It comes into the county, and they kind of disperse it based on who actually does better. So if you're generating more sales tax in Roseville, they're actually going to get more of that online sales tax. It's kind of not fair. I don't think that's fair. But some of it comes back locally, but not that full 1%. And we also lose that money that just circulates, stays in the community. It's going wherever Amazon is or wherever that business is. And also when we're online shopping, we have the wear and tear of delivery trucks. We have drivers coming through our neighborhoods who don't necessarily know, to watch for kids and watch for cats, and they're zooming in to do the job, right? So when, you can make a stop on your way home and then come to your house, it makes our neighborhoods a little quieter and a little bit safer. And then just the added pollution of having so many delivery trucks going around. It makes a difference. So I think of that when I want to shop locally, and I want to just decrease that wear on the mental load and the physical load of the city. These are the things that are lost. When you shop online, you are not giving people jobs here. It's great to be able to live and work where you want to live and work. The services, the character of Auburn, the events of Auburn. If we have empty stretches of buildings, we're not going to have street events. It all comes together and all works for the city. All right. Oh, this is different than I expected. All right, so we're going to move to our panel, moderated by Jay Ross. Let me see if I get names. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
Can you give us
Thank you
our
all.
mayor over here? Okay, I'm going to come grab this clicker real quick. Do you want to hand me the clicker, Cal? Teamwork, you know what I'm saying? Perfect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what you need to know right now is we have some amazing panelists. These individuals, they don't just live here. They don't just work here. They are the reason our businesses are thriving. They are the reason we can come together. And I'm really excited to introduce our panel. So, Mr. Sean Rabe was appointed as city manager of Auburn in June 2023. Since that time, he has focused on organizational culture, shoring up the city's financial outlook, and updating several key planning documents. He has more than 19 years of public sector experience, with 16 of those serving as city manager. Prior to his appointment in Auburn, he served as town manager of the town of Loomis for 6 years. He also served as city manager for the town of Colma and the city of Sutter Creek. He was a newspaper editor prior to working in the government. Sean holds a bachelor's degree in government from Sac State and a master's degree in public policy from CSU Northridge. He lives in Rockland. Pause. With his wife of 18 years, their 11-year-old daughter, and their French bulldog, who is allergic to pretty much everything. And if you come to his office, you will meet that bulldog. Let's welcome Sean Rabe. Oh, I'm so excited for this guy. So glad to have him on this panel. Manoush has been such an incredible supporter of Auburn. He's been coming out here since 1989. You guys were not even born then. He eventually moved to Grass Valley in 2004. He served ARD for 21 years because he loves this community. He loves the people and he loves the passion that we bring. He is now officially the president of our Chamber of Commerce. And he also, and he's the organizer of Leadership Auburn. If you haven't joined, I suggest you join. Since 2011. And if that's not enough, he's ran the 100-miler, not once, but 2 times. Give it up for Manoush. We were going to have them take shots when we announced their name, but we were told we couldn't have liquor in the council's chamber. So you're lucky tonight, buddy. All right. Auburn Downtown Business Association President Dallas Drake. Where would we be in Auburn without this guy and this innovation that he's bringing to our town? He moved to Auburn in about 2018-ish. He owns the Yeti. How many of you have been to the Yeti? He also is the owner of the Vault. The Vault is the new spot coming in, the old Bank of America. Wells Fargo. Where's Fargo? So that'll be open shortly. Soon come. Soonish. It's our new reality TV in Auburn. It's called Soonish. So that'll be really exciting. And actually, we heard there is an incredible escape room on the 2nd level. So we'll be doing some fun stuff there. He flips houses. And basically, he's a serial entrepreneur. I don't think there's anything you don't do, huh, Dallas? Maybe there is. A couple things. Yeah, I'll give it up for Dallas. Okay, our wonderful, beautiful Miss Kat. Go ahead, you can scream for her. She is our powerful president of the Auburn Old Town Business Association. Kat is a local small business owner and community advocate in Auburn who is dedicated to bringing people together through collaboration, events, and support of local businesses. Her work centers on strengthening connections and celebrating the heart of Auburn's community. She's a part of the co-ops in Old Town. She has Lady of the Canyon, the Skate, A-Town Classic, which I highly recommend you check out. So we're really grateful to have her join us. You guys give it up for Miss Kat. All right, this is your opportunity to be engaged. The more feedback we get, the more we can help market our experience. So please participate. You're going to go ahead and scan this QR code. If you are at home, you can also scan this code and we will take your feedback as well. This is how you comment. This is how we get your information so that we can make a thriving Auburn. Oh, nope, it'll be activated as soon as I push this button right here. Hold on. Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. I think I pushed the button too many times now. Jonathan, help. Go. Okay, so Jonathan's going to go to the next slide for us. Thank you so much. And once he goes to the next slide, this will start our panel discussion. So as you are answering these questions, our panels will base their answers on your answer. So there was no real prep for this. So please be mindful that these answers are coming straight freestyle. Are we ready to roll? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, see, this would have been the perfect time to do a pickle juice shot. Telling you. Why we are getting this set up, things that you should be thinking about are local events that you like to visit, things that would pull in people from the outside area, local events you'd like to see happening in Auburn. Be thinking about the sectors that are most influential in Auburn. Where do you think most of our money? Oh, there we go. There's our first question. So our first question of the evening is, what are the 5 market sectors that produce the most sale tax for the city? And how can we leverage them to support more one-of-a-kind services and stores? Please put your answers up. This is not Jeopardy. There's no wrong answers. So please put whatever you think that answer is up, and it'll start populating. There you go. And I'm going to allow, Sean, would you like to start with this question for us?
Beer's not a sector, but I like it. Okay, let's see. We'll wait for them to come in a little bit. So retail is not on there. Not as in terms of the city's actual revenue that's coming in. The car dealerships. So in larger cities, Roseville, Rockland, whatever, that have multiple different sales tax producing businesses, car dealerships are always one of the highest because you should buy a car, that sale is 100% taxable. Grocery stores are basically zero sales tax, so we don't get sales tax from a grocery store. Folks want to see like a Trader Joe's, which I love shopping at, but we don't get any revenue from Trader Joe's. There's no real sales tax generated by Trader Joe's. So the biggest sectors that the city has are fuel stations, and that's because of a specific deal that we have with a specific retailer that we have here in town. Casual dining. So if you go out to a restaurant, basically like a fast food restaurant. Auto sales, we do have a little bit of that. And it's not so much like new cars, although we do have new cars with the Chevy dealership and the Subaru dealership. But it's also stuff like car repairs and that kind of stuff. Fast food is on there, and then auto repair is on there also. So like if I'm building a brand new city ground up, what I want to have to produce sales tax is a Costco, because that's almost 100% sales tax producer, and high volume car dealerships, because it is 100% sales tax, and probably like a mall, like the Roseville Galleria Mall, which kind of fluctuates back and forth depending on the economy. But big sales tax producers are what brand new cities are looking for. The city, obviously, we don't have a whole lot of those businesses. And so what we're looking to do is expanding our potential sales tax uses to things like annexation and producing more land for the city to grow into, and then by getting more of those higher sales tax producers. So retail is up there, fuel is up there, gas is up there, auto services, restaurants a little bit, grocery, not really. So you're mostly close. Yeah.
So just so you can see a little bit about what's going on, here's your top 5 market sectors: your fuel station, your casual dining, your auto sales, your fast food, and your auto repair. So here's what we want to know. Here's what we're thinking. How can we leverage these market sectors to support more one-of-a-kind services and stores? How do we get those individuals from the gas station to our record store? How do we get those individuals from the burgers and cream to our thrift stores, our vintage stores? So go ahead and populate that. These are great answers. Anybody want to take this question? Anybody have ideas? Dallas, Manoush, Kat, you got an idea?
So One of the big issues is obviously like dwell time. So I know in the DBA, we focus on dwell time. We're trying to make an experience, an environment where when you go downtown, you're going to focus and stay there. We don't want you to come in and buy, the concept of everyone wants to pull up and park right in front and get their thing and leave. We're trying to do away with that. We want someone to come in. We want them to come and have that meal and then maybe go shopping, or maybe go shopping and see the non-franchise restaurants. Those are unique experiences that you can only have here. You can't go to that restaurant in Roseville. It's only here. By having these really specialized, unique niche things. I mean, everyone's been to Josephine, restaurant Josephine, I believe, and like that's a unique experience that we're proud to own, and it makes it a destination for people to help boost those other sectors.
Just to add on that, so I think that small towns like ours have a historical fabric, right? And a community fabric that you don't want to monkey around with and mess around with, right? So we don't want to put stuff like big box stores in the middle of Old Town, downtown. And so looking, if we are going to ever do anything like that, it goes on the outskirts where it doesn't impact what makes Auburn, Auburn, and then continuing to attract, like Dallas was saying, this kind of niche businesses that you can't go anywhere else for, and making sure that those businesses are thriving and we're getting those kind of mom and pop places to really thrive in this community. The mayor talked about like money that's circulating through the community, and like every dollar that you spend in a community at a local business, locally owned business, circulates between 3 and 5 times, maybe up to 7 times. And those are the businesses that are supporting like your kid, your grandkids, little league team, soccer team. Amazon is not doing that for you, right? So you want to make sure that we're supporting those local businesses that you can really only get here, that are really like Auburn centric. Unfortunately, because of the size of those businesses, we don't have a lot of sales tax capacity. And what we do is look for the bigger sales tax producers to put on the outskirts where they're not going to negatively impact what we have that's special that makes Auburn, Auburn. That's how I look at it, at least.
In Old Town, really been focusing on. We're focusing on beautification in Old Town, since when you get off the freeway, you want your first impression. Oh, Auburn's so cute. I want to walk around. So we've been. We spent money on getting more plants in the plant hangers. We put lights on all the buildings that wanted to participate. And we're working on the vacant buildings and the fencing as soon as you get off the freeway. So that's what we're working on. Old Town.
So 2 hats, ARD and the chamber. So we, at ARD, we host lots of events. There are a couple of events that we host that we bring a few thousand people here into town. So to grab that sector that comes in and keep them in here, it requires a great networking from all the businesses and everybody who is participating in Auburn, with whatever it is that we do. So we try to reach out, we try to promote it through ARD. We have a great way of, promoting all of our programs, and we grab that sector, but we want them to stay here. On the other side, the other hat that I'm going to put on, chamber, and what we did last year, Michelle, did that Auburn magazine that, we put it together in-house, and we were able to mail out about 4,000 to 4,500 of these magazines out to towns below us, Rockland, Loomis, Roseville, with the hopes that, they're going to come up and visit us. And we are focusing on doing that thing again, stronger, and hopefully with more publications getting released next.
I love the teamwork of passing the talking mic. It's great. For Dallas and Kat, have you noticed a difference with the entertainment zone yet? Has that brought people in at all? Have you noticed?
In Old Town, it's a little slow moving, but we are still working on it. We noticed that downtown is doing a lot of promotion for it. So I think that they're having a better.
I think one of the things that we focused on when we were helping put that together was it wasn't so much about the actual action of, it was a talking point. And as a talking point, there's people that know about it. There's people that have been visiting. I have friends that live outside of town. I got to go to Auburn. They got that cool entertainment. That's a cool thing. I want to do that. It's a cool experience. I can't do that in Roseville, but I can do it in Auburn. So whether they took it or not, it still brought up attention that we're here. And it's kind of just a marketing thing to help people remember we're here and remember it's different.
Okay, next question, you all. What is currently working in Auburn? Which businesses are gaining traction and drawing customers to Auburn? You can go ahead and populate that. This can be specific businesses. This can be events. This can be, again, experiences, the hiking. And when you say experiences on here, because I've noticed it a couple times, if you could be very specific, we can take that information and turn that into actual marketing. Anybody want to take a draw at this question?
Let's see. So when I'm thinking about this city and what is going to kind of continue to move the city forward, somebody had something on here about on the last one about like we're not marketing ourselves as a destination. I think that's 100% correct, and we do need to do that more. And so when I'm looking at like what I think is going to continue to move the city forward, we have things like Josephine's, Monkey Cat, we have the Lounge, we have Oak House, bringing people to town for a reason. So restaurants, the Vault, when that gets opened up, people are going to come here for a reason, go to a restaurant, maybe drink a little bit. Drunk people tend to spend money somewhere else. And so this kind of synergistic thing between the restaurants, so there's a reason for people to come here, or the historical nature of our town, right? They go to the museums or whatever that is. There's a reason for them to come here, and then you need to hook them and make them continue to stay here. So I really think that food and restaurants, people like to eat and they like to gather and they like to do stuff after that because you want to walk off a meal or whatever it is. I think that is really something that we need to key in on and try to continue to promote. We have stuff like the endurance races that we don't really promote all that much. And I think that's another thing that we're really missing. We have 10,000 people that come here during like the Canyons race and during the Western States. And then that's not on top of the people who are watching, where that's basically double. So there's 20,000 eyes, 40,000, I guess, because you're doubling it, on Auburn at one time between YouTube and between people that are here. And we don't do anything to really keep those people here once they are here. They come to the race, they do their crewing or whatever it is, they might eat and then they leave. And so figuring out a way to make them continue to stay here after that is really important. I think that food is one way to do that, but then also just expanding that out as much as we can.
And I'm going to add on to that. Endurance events, just this week, the newsletter that went out from the chamber, I included a running event that's coming just about 2 weeks from now, on the 21st here in Auburn. So I'm not trying to emphasize just on running events. There are a whole bunch of other things that happens in the community that the businesses are not aware of it. So all of a sudden you get 400, 500, 600 runners in town. And then, some businesses have a couple of more transactions than they did in the past weekend. They don't know what happened. They don't know. They just assume that, oh, well, we had, more crowd here for whatever reason they stopped by. But there is a reason behind it. And I think that goes back to what I said earlier. We need to work together, network together to promote all these events. And I am going to continue with Michelle's help every week during the next 4 or 5 months as these endurance events happen. I'm going to announce them in our chamber's newsletter. So hopefully, those who, hopefully all of you guys read it. But if you don't, take a look at it so you can share it with your other friends and business.
I feel like bringing the Explore Auburn page back has really helped. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think the Explore Auburn page and the Explore Auburn Instagram has been helping a lot. It's bringing people together. We're able to communicate, share when the events are happening.
I love that. I think Explore Auburn, California, because there is 2 Explore Auburns. ExploreAuburnCA.com is a great place to go to see what is going on. As y'all are putting things up here, I have to be honest, I feel really special to live in Auburn. I am seeing these things and I'm thinking, when you think that Auburn is not offering stuff and then you're looking at all of this from Two Ass Brewing Co. to Oddfellows. Oddfellows is one of our larger venues in Placer County, period. And people may not know that. So we're really like looking at this saying, wow, we have all of this stuff in Auburn. How lucky are we? So I just love, I'm watching this and I'm just feeling really grateful to be here. So all of these answers are really wonderful. What experiences does Auburn offer customers today? Now remember, we are customers of our city. So even us sitting here as business owners are customers. What are we offering our customers today? And what might we be missing besides a roller skating rink?
Well, this is like the $1 million question, I think, that I ask millions of times. But it's really, what experiences are we missing? It's hard because I think when we look at it, we have a baseline community, which is wonderful. But are we doing a good job even in the baseline of keeping our community here versus going to Roseville, to going outside? So I think finding that we have a nice community level, but keeping that community really tight and making sure people could really support their daily lives here is something I kind of find missing at times. The other offering of customers is like, what do we have to offer? We have a history. We have this really unique downtown and old town area that's just different than other places. And we do offer, like, the restaurants are great. And we have this adventure aspect and we have this endurance capital and everything outside of town that's really good for drawing people here. And I feel like we don't necessarily do the best of job capturing that audience, and we end up at gas stop, which is kind of the big issue for me. So I think we have things to offer. We're just not doing a good job catching them and exactly what they are.
The only thing I can think of that Old Town is kind of missing is everyday shopping. We have a lot of gift stores. I feel like if we had a gym or something in town that brought people there every day, it would help because we're very transient.
Maybe Mary Bell's can become a gym. Just saying, it's a great idea. So keep putting your ideas up here. Walkable connections between Old Town and downtown. I really love that. I know the Quail Trail was something that Leadership Auburn did to really try to balance that. That was a really cool project to watch. And I love how you guys are mentioning more nightlife. You know, some of us want to go out and dance. That would be super cool. Dallas, maybe you need to have a dance party at the vault. Okay, we could a disco party for us older folks. I love the trolley idea too. Climbing gym, these are great ideas. All right, the $1 million question. If you can come up with a solution to this question, I will buy you a cup of coffee. How do vacant buildings affect existing businesses? And what strategies could we use to address or repurpose them? Whoever said that, I just want to hug you. That's your cup of coffee. Whoever put that, come talk to me. That's something we were talking about, actually getting artists to paint those windows. So maybe he would come out, something fun. Suggestions, ideas, thoughts.
This is one of my other favorite talking points, actually. So the vacant building thing, big issue. I think it affects people. I always hear people say that, we're empty, we're not full. There is a pretty quick turnover on vacant stuff. The conversation kind of goes to, is it a vacant building or is it an owner that doesn't want to be part of the community and compromise? Because you have two different issues. A vacant building here rents very quickly. That's not the issue. The problem is we have some spaces that are occupied by building owners that don't want to participate It could be a tax strategy. It could be many reasons. I'm not them. I don't know. But the problem with that is that when you have that, you're trying to find a way to make it better. And actually, some of the posts of making billboards out of the windows and such, we had a vacant building ordinance that was put together that was squashed down a little bit. It's going to be coming back, hopefully, with some modifications. But those were all wonderful ways to make it where it didn't feel like we were empty. And it's really just a core few towns, like in our downtown areas, we have a couple serial issues, I guess, where it's the same group or owners committing the same type of situation. So it's really up to the community to like stand up, like we would love the help of the community. Come to that city council meeting, make your voice heard, and say you'd prefer that your city looks nice versus having an empty storefront.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I do think it's two different things. If a building is vacant and the owner wants to rent that building, the building will get rented, and usually pretty quickly. The ones that are been vacant for a long time is a different issue entirely. One thing that the city is doing is we are starting to look at those buildings as potential code violations, and we're going after those business owners, the property owners. So if you have a building that has bricks falling out of it, the city is now looking to try to get that building cleaned up and fixed because it's a public safety issue. Chain link fences in historic areas of town aren't allowed in the zoning code, and so we're addressing those also. So we're doing things slowly, but we really do need to start doing the kind of code enforcement stuff as much as we can.
In Old Town, we noticed that we have a whole strip of a building that is basically a dead zone. And so it was affecting commercial street. So for now, until there's something else implemented, we talked to the owner and we put new backdrops and we're using it as promotion. So I don't know what other strategy to do except to just try to be patient with them until it happens.
I really love the burn them. That was pretty creative. I like Mary Bell's could be a repurposed to a dispensary. These are like really wonderful ideas. Have any of you ever been to Roseville Venture Lab? It's kind of like our no hands co-op, where it's a co-working space and you can also throw events, but it also brings innovation. So part of our economy, how it's outlined, is 80% of our businesses are service local businesses. 15% are typically export businesses, and 5 to 10% are innovative startups that become a centralized location for that trending business, such as tech, or things like the Roseville Venture Lab that have incubators and startups sections. So adding that innovation sector is really, really crucial to not just annexing, but kind of blowing up Auburn as that go-to place, because now it becomes the new Silicon Valley or whatever it is that we've established ourselves as. And so the one thing that I feel we might need a little bit more of is that innovative sector, and really looking at what that starts and looks like. So supporting Auburn Business Venture and supporting No Hands Co-working Space, these type of things are really gonna bring up our innovative sector, right? I love these, the startups, the accommodations, the boutiques, these are all really important things. And fast track permitting process for Auburn auto doctors. I'm gonna say, like, Sean, what do we need to do?
Yeah, so who's Auburn Auto Doctors? And okay, so talk to me afterwards and we'll figure it out.
We got you. Just come, you know who to talk to. You just talk to someone on this panel and we got you taken care of. All right. What can residents and visitors do as customers to better support Auburn businesses? So we have two different customers here. We have our own residents and we have visitors. So we want to make sure there are two different sectors. How do we keep our people here, but also how do we bring in more people? Tell a friend to tell a friend. Question, anybody have some? Manoush, what are you thinking?
Well, our residents, we love Auburn. I mean, I say we, even though I don't live here, I know all the streets better than I do in Grass Valley. But we love to support it. We need to stay here. And as a good customer, we just need to stay focused on local. Something I learned, this may not, answer that question, but I'm going to share this with you. Many years ago, in different business I was in, somebody was trying to convince us that, if you go out and get the generation of 50 plus to come in and become your customers, they'll pay that extra $5, $6, whatever the fee is, to stay with you. So a community like Auburn, where people care and the businesses are so sincere and kind and generous to support all these other events, as residents, we just need to completely focus to stay local. Now, for other people to come in, how to support businesses, again, the businesses have to be more active in promoting themselves, whether online, AI-related tools. All kinds of tools are available. We just need to reach out as those cars are driving on I-80, they're going up and down. We got to be able to tag them so they can bring them in.
One of the things that I remember reading somewhere was like the number one best way to like advertising mode or whatever is telling people, like telling your friends or posting on social media so people see it. Positive reviews from folks, taking a picture of a great meal at Josephine's, sharing that, and then it gets shared multiple times and all that stuff. I think that that's really important. So in terms of like what residents and visitors can do as customers to support our businesses, tell other people about our businesses and share that, especially on social media, because those networks kind of end up, snaking through all kinds of different sectors and different communities. It's really important. When we looked at our general plan demographics and we looked at the people who are actually coming up here to visit, a lot of people think it's like Bay Area folks. It's not. It's Sacramento and it's Roseville. And so everybody knows somebody that lives in Sacramento or Roseville. And if you promote the city through your social media channels, your stuff, people see that. And then it's like, well, Monkey Cat looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll go there. The vault looks like it's going to be nice. I'll take the family up there. That kind of stuff is really important. And it really makes a big difference, I think.
I like this. Auburn needs to be on TikTok. So really quick, this is our Explore California. This is Matt. He's been an amazing contributor to the marketing of Auburn. Really grateful to have you, Matt. How about a TikTok? No. Okay. Well, we're going to talk, girl. We are going to talk. We got you on TikTok. Don't gatekeep. Really important. Whoever said that, come talk to me, please. I think it's really important that we leave our doors open for that innovation. A lot about staying open later. Businesses, if we close at 5, how are you going to get the people coming off of work, right? But also we can't dictate or code enforce how late or when you open and have your hours. But we really would enjoy, it's been said several times that opening later, staying open later will increase those sales. The other thing I want to mention is I saw something about a grant. We do have a grant that supports businesses that need to be, actually, I'm going to have you talk about that, Sean.
Yeah, so the city launched a grant program last year that provided basically like last mile funding to get vacant buildings that have been vacant for the past 3 years, get those businesses kind of over the hurdle, right? So if you were putting money into a business or into a building that you want to open up a business, but you need like additional money at the tail end of it, it can't go towards labor stuff because it creates prevailing wage problems because the state of California is weird about all that stuff. But you can use it to buy like fixtures, furniture, that kind of stuff. And so we've funded businesses like the Hillmont received a grant. I think it was 40,000. I think 40 was it? How much was your grant? 40,000. Yeah. So the vault received a grant, $40,000 for fixtures for that building to get opened up. Hillmont received a grant. We opened that up. We've just got a little bit of money left for those grants. So the city is trying to do as much as we can. Josephine's is a recipient of a CDBG grant that we had that the money's kind of like petered out on. But that business, we provided money to them to create jobs, specifically to create jobs, and then it's being repaid through an ongoing loan. And obviously they're doing amazing and Beard Award winners, all that stuff. So the city tries to do as much as we can. Resources are limited for us, obviously, as a city, and we're talking about sales tax to increase revenue so we can do stuff like this. So it really is kind of a circular thing, right? Invest in your community, so your community can invest back in you.
You know, I just saw something up there. It's still up there. Take the Chambers magazine and leave it everywhere, not in the city. It is so true. So as I said earlier, we did mail them out to 4,000, a little bit over 4,000 outside of the city. But this is an offer. Seriously, go to the chamber. Those magazines are available. Take them, and then distribute them. I'm not trying to pass the buck, but if that is how passionate we are to promote Auburn down below, we all have to take part of it.
Just quickly, drink more local beer. Local beer, any kind of beer is taxable. Sales taxable. Drink it. I like it. It's good.
One of my ones on here is for residents and visitors. The biggest you can really do is go downtown and walk. Like, just go walk. It costs you nothing. Go fill downtown. If you go downtown, downtown will now be exciting for somebody else. Someone visiting says, this is the place to be, and all you're doing is walking. And they're more inclined to stay. It feels comfortable. It feels active. It feels like a place humans want to be. So if you want to make downtown successful, just walk. Go for a walk. Instead of the park, instead of your neighborhood, go walk downtown.
And if you do it after 5, then we will be open. But just saying, because I've stayed open until 6 for many years and nobody comes. Maybe Saturday night. So if you guys actually show up, then we will stay open. If nobody's there, that's why we're closed.
Great point. I like the open your wallets and spend. Anybody who wants to open their wallet, I got plenty of places to go. One of the things I also saw up here was, the Grass Valley in Nevada City, the paved road. And everybody's kind of talking about what if we pave our road up here? That was put together by a cultural district grant. So Nevada City is known as a cultural district. It gets certain funding and it gets access to grants that other people may not have access to. There are cultural districts, historical districts, arts districts, and all of these open you up to different funding. However, in California, they only give so many of these districts away a year. So you have to apply. That is something we're looking into applying in the future. I know Arts Council Placer County, shout out to them. They did this for Tahoe, to get Tahoe to be a cultural district, and it takes a lot, and it's something we're willing to do to increase more people in spending. Love that. Let's see, I think we got one more question or 2 more questions. What events are currently offered? This is your opportunity to promote. I've seen Porch Fest. I've seen Harvest Fest, Kidsapalooza. There are so many great events in Auburn. Promote right now. What events are currently offered in Auburn's? And do you all attend any of these events? And what would you like to see more of?
So the events are super important to me personally. Every single event we have, whether I've known about it or not, that's literally how I've met every single person in this town. I've connected with so many people, other residents, my new friends. Everyone's come from these events. So it doesn't even matter which event you go to. They're all unique. They're all different. I don't run. I've gone to the endurance events. They're unique, cool experience to see. You get to meet different people. You get to see how your fellow business owners interact with the public and how they're making a difference in the town you live in. So I don't think there's a specific event that I would even vouch for. Maybe Festival Lights. That one's pretty amazing. But they're all just so unique in what they do for the community. It's all a different take and a different position.
So all the events that we offer at ARD, I mean, you go to our website, you can look at them. They just bring tons of people in. And they, not necessarily all of them are from Auburn. Last year, or 2 years ago, we explored the new event, Parks and Big Trucks. It started with 300 people, and then all of a sudden, this last year, we keep track of them because, I bought these plastic soft hats for the kids. We got rid of 500 of them within an hour. And this is a 2-hour event, by the way. So people do come up here from down below for certain events, and they do stay. The other thing was the chamber event, the 4th of July event. And I'm not here to do a promotion, but I really expect that, almost everyone in Auburn should really support the event for the big anniversary, 250. And we just have to blow it so far out of the court that, it gets attention of everybody around us.
Just piggybacking on something that Dallas said about, meeting people at these events. I go to like all these events, meet all kinds of people. And the thing that I don't think that we capitalize on enough is like, we have these events and we have businesses that are closed, but there's thousands of people walking through town, walking by closed storefronts. And if we can get those businesses to be opened up during those events, like if you get 2 or 3 people that come in and then they're able to share that on social media, whatever it is, I think that's really important. If you've got the events going and everything is closed, then like, why would somebody come back here, right? Like, come for an event, everything's closed. I'm not going to come back for the next one because there's nothing to do or whatever. Dallas told me, I remember we were talking about canyons one time, and he was saying that the race coordinators came in, they wanted coffee. There was nobody open for coffee or something that early in the morning. And so he just started selling coffee to these people, like just walking around with a cart, right? Yeah. And so like, and then the next, like in the afternoon, they go over because Dallas met all these people and sold them beer and ice cream and everything else. So like being creative about what you're doing and getting people to engage with your business for the business owners out there, especially during these events, is really important, I think.
In Old Town, we are bringing back the antique fair. We're gonna go for a new event, and then obviously A-Town Classic will be there, and Country Christmas. We're trying to keep it traditional, bringing back the tradition. They do really well in Old Town. We are working with all the business owners open. They're still not convinced that it's going to be worth it, but if they try, I think it will.
Okay to try. It would be so awesome. Just a little bit of information. The creative economy. There was a report. It was called the Arts and Economic Prosperity 6. This was a study done by the National Arts Endowment. Americans for the Arts. Thank you. That's Jenny, our director of ACPC Arts Council Placer County. So these creative events bring in so much revenue. It actually adds up to $26.1 million in tax revenue. Your events, people, when they go to get gas, when they buy food, when they go to get their coffee, they need babysitters, everything that is involved in attending an event adds up to $26.1 million. And that was in 2022. I think it was 2021, 2022-ish. So that's for arts related events. So imagine how much these events are actually bringing in. So more events. I think that's the moral of the story. More events. And then we're looking at downtown and Old Town and Explore California to start putting together a general calendar that connects all of these events together. So at some point, really, really, really soon, you'll be able to go to Explore Auburn, exploreauburnca.com. And if you go there, you'll be able to find all of these events listed. So you will have a one-stop shop for your events. I know, it'll make a huge difference. Okay, let's see here. Oh, well, we're going to do one more because we want to ask you more questions, and we want to hear your answers. So here's our last question here. As a business, how are you supporting other local businesses?
I can tell you at the chamber, for all of our food and drinks, we go to grocery outlet. We support them, to keep it local. but I know it doesn't pay taxes, but we do get liquor there too, so.
But it circulates through.
It
People
does, yeah.
spend money.
Exactly. And really, you know, when it comes to our events at ARD, religiously keeping it local. We try to buy everything local.
Yes, I mean, I hate to go back to beer, but I mean, so most of my locations, we always do local beer. So obviously, not all the beer we carry is going to be in Auburn, but we try our best. We do utilize local providers when we can. So we'll use local business services. We try to stay in town or as close to town as possible. I know the new build we did the vault, a lot of stuff came from local businesses, except for some really specific pieces. We had local labor, we had local everything. When we go get lunch, we go to another local business for lunch for the crew. Like I wouldn't have our out of town workers go anywhere else besides another business downtown, even to eat lunch, because that's what we do for each other. And the same way it goes when they have their events, they turn around, they look at us and say, wow, you have some entertainment. I don't have entertainment. Let's go hang out at your place. And we cross promote. And that's how these businesses, I mean, we've been surviving with it, but we send everywhere else. I mean, even one of my workers got engaged the other day. And of course I sent him to my favorite jewelry store, which is downtown Auburn. So we're all working back and forth trying to support as much as we can, even with the little simple things. But there's daily life that does it.
I think that the cross promotional stuff is really important. I know, like when I was in Loomis, the hardware store would sell growlers, and then you could take that growler to the Gander Tap House and fill it up for half price. And so, but you couldn't do that if you didn't have the growler from. You had to bring the receipt and stuff. So that kind of stuff I think really works well. When I started here, just like simple things from the city's perspective. When I started, we had like the apparel that we get, like the shirts and that kind of stuff, right? That were bought at 4imprint, and so now we buy them at Dancing Dog. And so, like, we're spending our money locally at the city because we all know the value of that, right? Spending money comes back to the city. Buy stuff at Staples, local business, so that sales tax stays within the city limits. Try to do that as much as we can. We just bought a fire truck. Excuse me, a truck. Not a fire truck, but a pickup truck. It has to be a Ford, so we had to go outside of the city limits, but it's still, we bought it at Duprat up the street instead of buying it from like one of the statewide vendors that you can get it a little bit cheaper, because we want to make sure that we're keeping that money as local as we can. So anything that the city can do that way, we're doing. Getting our shirts and our stuff from Dancing Dog is a little bit more expensive, sure, but it also pays back because we're keeping the money local, and we try to do that as much as we can.
One thing I do want to point out that I really admire about Dallas is that during the parade, he will not let you park in his parking lot unless you pay, and all of that money goes to nonprofits. Did it just go, I think it was the girls wrestling or the girls?
Pay about $20,000 a year just to have girls softball, and that comes from the parents and the girls fundraising. So the year prior we did about, I think it was like $900, and this year with using the space, the parking lot, as well as being able to sell hot chocolate, they raised about, I think they went over $1,500 this year. So they've got $1,500. I mean, it's a chunk. It's not going to cover all of it, but like any little bit like that is like a helpful thing.
As Lady of the Canyon and the A, I tried to do A-Town Classic to bring people down to support. I am not a good public speaker. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, as Lady of the Canyon, yes. So I tried to bring A-Town Classic to Auburn to bring something new to support our businesses and show how cool Auburn is. It felt like it was getting lost.
I have to tell you guys, so I live right on the outskirts of Auburn. And so I don't always think Auburn first. We sometimes it slips our mind, right? And we were doing Economic Development Commission postcards for the holidays, and we wanted to send them out to surrounding cities. We wanted to send them out to mayors in San Francisco. We wanted to bring all these cool people. So we sent out postcards, and I called Kelly. I said, Kelly, these postcards are only $50 online. And she looked at me like I was crazy and said, hold on, we are the EDC. So we ended up going to A1 Printing, which we were really happy with. But we don't always think Auburn. We don't always. And budgets don't always think Auburn. However, the goal of this is to remember that a dollar spent outside of Auburn is only spent once. A dollar spent inside of Auburn circulates 3 to 7 times. So just little things that we may not have thought of before that we can now go home and make a conscious effort to think about. Okay, with this said, I want to thank our amazing panel. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This is your opportunity. We're going to ask you questions, and we're hoping you will give us honest feedback. We want your honest feedback. We're not going to burn anything, not going to burn things down. We can have abolitionists in here, but we want your honest feedback. So once again, I'd like to bring up Miss Kelly Davis, our amazing mayor, and she's going to ask y'all some questions.
You guys have a few more, if you want to leave, we're going to ask a couple more questions because you're all captive, and we really want this info so we can use it and have it documented. So if you can stick around for a few more questions, we want to know, what goods and services do you struggle to find in the city? So we're saying think Auburn first, and you're thinking Auburn first. What do you, be patient, working on it. Coming. So that's it. That's all you want. Men's clothing, laptops, okay. Yep, more options for birthday parties. Spaces to rent. If you don't know about the Carnegie Library, you should check it out. Good clothing stores, appliances, yeah. Hey, we have good restaurants. Apple Store, that'd be cool. Party supplies. As you see these populating, does anybody own a business that they're saying, hey, I have that? No? Okay. All right, Auburn Gymnastics. Shameless plug for Auburn Gymnastics. You do throw a great party. Yes. Like 3 parties in one. You get to go boom, boom. Furniture, restaurant supplies, clothing, dancing and music. Great. Okay. I'll give these 3 people that are typing one more chance. 2. Does anybody want to like expand on their hopes and dreams? Okay. Okay, this is along the same line, so I won't hang here too long, but what services can you find, but you are continuing to go somewhere else? So something that I have to really bug my husband about is running shoes. You know, he's like, oh, he runs all these long races like Manouche, and, you know, they're just burning through running shoes. And, you know, it's easier for him to just go online and he gets the ones he wants. And I say no, and I get mad at him, and I say, go to downtown and get your shoes, because it matters. And now he does. And Old Town. Yes, exactly. So, you know, when you pause for a minute, you can think, where could I get this? Shoes, footpath, best shoes around. Kids' shoes. There you go. So shoe shops that are open and have kids' shoes. Optometrist clothes, Uptime, bulk items, Pet supplies, that is lacking. Does anybody have pet supplies in town? Yeah. Echo Valley. Yeah. Okay. There you go. You have cat food? Okay. Okay. There we go. Problem solved. And chicks. Okay. Beauty products, great. Photography supplies. Cool. Oh, Sutter doctors. Okay. Would you pay more to shop local now that you are aware of how important it is? Yeah, good answer. I know. Everyone says no, and you've sat along this far. I'm really impressed. Okay. What ideas do you have to attract more visitors and tourists to shop in Auburn? What can we do? How can we get more people here? More parking. We just put up a lot of signs. We have a lot of parking. Might just have to. All right, we'll get the weed. We're doing more signage. Good. Live music. Absolutely. Social media. Super dope ad on Facebook. Good, fill vacant spaces, public art, absolutely. Oh, butterfly sanctuary. Yeah, if y'all, you can just plant those butterfly plants. Let's go to town. Let's make it a butterfly sanctuary. TikTok. Maybe Sean, you want to be our TikTok? Your daughter could help you. Oh, yeah. Murals, outdoor entertainment, restaurants, Auburn Theater, State Theater, great. Market or would anybody who said market for conferences expand on that? Oh, okay. Yeah, safe bike lanes. Yeah, it wasn't even me. I don't have my phone. Somebody said that. Billboard, dancing, great. Okay. 5 more people typing for 6, guys. Sundays. Okay, cool. Thank you. Do you want me to say something, J. Ross? No. Oh, tuk-tuk. Yeah, tuk-tuk. Yeah. Hmm. More. Okay. I think we kind of covered this. Oh, this one. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, just because Okay, so I noticed that as a business owner, my business has been there for 37 years, and people go, "How long have you been here for?" I say 37 years, and they go, "What?" And I think that we're not having enough conversation or knowledge on what is in our own town. Having the knowledge of who your neighbors are, what they offer is super important, because I also have over 30 different sandwiches on my menu, and a guy walks in and said, "I've been asking all these stores where I could get a sandwich and no one knew." And they're like, "Thankfully, we saw in your window walking by that you had sandwiches." I'm not the only restaurant in Auburn that has sandwiches. So he was upset, he was angry, and there wasn't much I could do except for make him the sandwich. So, but I think knowing your neighbors and what they offer is super important, especially for the locals, because then when you leave, you can say, "I got a great pair of earrings at the Silver Store in Old Town." Not, "Oh, there's great shops and restaurants, blah, blah, blah." Everyone says that about every town. So being super specific on what you're finding and what you're seeing and knowing your neighbors, I think, is one of the most important things to help Auburn as a whole thrive.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I love that. I do want to add right here, Janae has a
Something that Ms. Edelweiss said made me think about when I was growing up as a kid down in Long Beach, they had a treasure hunt. And the Press Telegram put it on, and unfortunately they had to cancel it because there were potholes all along the beach. People were digging everywhere, but the newspaper put out clues, and then you had to go and put the clues together. And, you know, a scavenger hunt, good old fashioned, would be an easy way to figure out what we have here. And I could certainly work that into Porch Fest.
Mhm. And that makes it fun for the kids too. So if you're dragging your kids out to go shopping and they're just dragging, give them something to look for. Give them something in your shop. My kids will go grocery shopping because they know to look for like a stuffed animal.
So one thing I do want to say is we were talking about an augmented reality where you would follow a Sasquatch through Auburn,
Maybe a Yeti.
right? You'd follow a Sasquatch. So we are looking for donators if anybody wants to donate to that.
Thanks. I have a mic now, so you can keep that. Does anybody else have like comments about that? Okay. All right. This one I'm super interested in because, you know, we don't need to recreate every wheel. There are other cities that are thriving and other cities that are fun to go visit. And you're looking, you know, I just booked tickets to go to Bentonville. Never did I think I was going to Bentonville, Arkansas, but I am. They got a bunch of mountain biking trails. And so what cities are you looking at and saying, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go back there. I can't wait to check that out. And if you want to add how you found out about it, that'd be super helpful too. But what's on your wish list? What could we look to as an example?
And why? Fill in the why. That's a crucial part. And if Sebastopol is because of the weed, we totally understand.
Seeing a strong thread there. Fort Bragg, Mendocino, I see.
Snoopy art. Is this real Snoopy? Charlie and Snoopy?
Uh-huh. Okay, see a show of hands. Who wants a skating rink? All right,
Put your hands up.
great.
June said
And,
miniature
yeah.
golf. Miniature golf.
Walk
Dallas, is that
into-
something we can add? Miniature golf? It's coming. Okay, it's coming. To be continued.
Outdoor tent, great.
Pickleball? I didn't hear a lot of pickleball talk. What about? We have an amazing pickleball. That's like something Auburn should be really proud of. Yeah.
Does anybody have a favorite city they want to expand on and say like, oh my God, like I love San Luis Obispo. I love it. I'll go there any chance I can get. It's not that different from Auburn, you know, and it's why kind of we're in Auburn because Auburn's even better, but we want to go there because it offers a lot of the same things, but it's different. So does anybody have a favorite city? Rosie?
I went to Sedona, Arizona. And it, to me, it reminded me of Carmel, even though Carmel's by the water. But art called Sedona, surrounded by these beautiful mountains, red rock. I mean, you take a Jeep and you can go for miles.
Cool.
But I also came back with quite a number of artifacts. So I loved it. I absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. I think that's the end.
Yeah.
We did it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Do you want me to close it down? All right. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday night with us. Thank you so much for everything you had to share. We are the Economic Development Commission. We have 2 openings. If any of you have a business by the airport, or if any of you are just generally into this, we are busy folks and we want you to join the team and bring your ideas and think Auburn first.